Hello and welcome to the CCN podcast. I'm your host, Paul Medor. Today is Friday, June 19th, 2015. Bitcoin has been trending upwards all week, presently trading at nearly $250. For consistent daily analysis of the Bitcoin price, always check ccn.la first. This episode is brought to you by bitcasino.io, an online gambling establishment which is presently co-sponsoring a lottery for CCN readers. U.S. residents will want to sign up at vegascasino.io, but nevertheless, all you have to do to enter is leave your casino username and pick 5 numbers at the link in the show notes to win up to 1 Bitcoin, depending on the outcome of the lottery. This is the marijuana episode of the CCN podcast. I had the opportunity to talk to 3 players at the crossroads between cryptocurrency and marijuana, 2 nascent industries which are both somewhat vulnerable to government interference. First, I spoke to Chin Song of Golden Gate's Greenest, a marijuana co-op out of the San Francisco Bay Area, which will only be accepting cryptocurrencies. Then I've got an interview with Adam Garrity, the progenitor and leader of the Mary Jane Coin project. Then I spoke to the 2 current lead developers of Potcoin, Sean and Richie from Pot Labs in Montreal, Canada. So as not to make this episode any longer than it is, I'm just going to jump right into these interviews. Also stay tuned to hear the Crypto Song, an appropriate reggae tune by Let's Talk Bitcoin's John Barrett, host of Bitcoins and Gravy. Thanks for tuning in, liking, sharing, and subscribing. On the line here with Chin Song, the operator of a marijuana co-op in Northern California that will be accepting Bitcoin exclusively starting very soon. And we just wanted to talk to you about, how this came to be. There's a lot of ways to accept money, obviously, but you're choosing to only take Bitcoin. And I guess maybe in the Bay Area that's pretty feasible, being that there's a lot of Bitcoin users there. But how did this idea come about?
We originally planned to use any type of processing that we could online, since we're primarily going to be on the online space. But we ran into a lot of problems that a lot of dispensaries were having, especially with credit card processing. There's just no solution that we could find that really fit properly with a dispensary that's going to be online. So me and my team decided we would just take the plunge and we would go directly, exclusively with the cryptocurrency route and see where it took us. And in the market, well, we know that the cryptocurrency market and cannabis market are not a huge thing right now, but because of how we will be supplying all of the state of California, we will be able to take cryptocurrency payments, and I think that the market will slowly grow as we become more trusted in the community.
As far as competitive advantage, will there be some advantage to someone who, say, they don't normally use Bitcoin, but by going through you, they'll save some money by, buying Bitcoin and then buying from you?
Here's the thing. The problem with a lot of dispensaries is they have one system where the money coming in is being used to purchase more product, and in the end, there's only a finite amount of profit that you can make. But because we're using cryptocurrency, we could potentially make profits in other areas that aren't exclusively cannabis based. And then if this is successful, we will be able to put that money, that extra profit, back into our organization, which will allow us to decrease the prices and increase the partnerships that we have with other farmers. And I think that the relationships that could be brought on by this will actually increase the quality of our cannabis, and it'll actually help us compete much better than any other dispensary that's available right now.
So you're a co-op and not actually like a physical dispensary.
Yes.
Which is more of a legal concept than anything, right?
Absolutely right. It's a legal term. Dispensaries generally are physical locations, and they have regulations by the city and things of that nature. And we'll primarily be based off the internet, so we won't have as many expenses in the long run that we have to take care of, and that a lot of dispensaries really have on their shoulders right now. So I think that will also help in lowering the prices for our consumers uh, who are purchasing with cryptocurrencies.
So, from living in Colorado, I'm aware that there's a lot of cannabis businesses that have huge problems setting up bank accounts because of the nature of their business. A lot of banks will not deal with them at all. Are you going to be, like once you get the coins, are you going to be converting them to fiat and then paying, your suppliers with like dollars, or do you have some growers that are willing to accept Bitcoin as well?
Being up in the San Francisco area, we have a benefit that there are a lot of Bitcoin users. We are trying to develop a relationship between us and different growers where they will start accepting Bitcoin from us. And that'll help alleviate the process of us having to constantly transfer over back into fiat and to pay these growers. But initially, we will have to use things like the Bitcoin ATMs in the local area or other Bitcoin traders using local Bitcoins
There's
to help us facilitate the transfer between Bitcoin and cash to pay some of our growers who aren't initially willing to make that transfer.
Right. There's a few Bitcoin meetups, and I'm sure local Bitcoins is fairly active there too, to where
Yes.
you would be able to actually sell someone the Bitcoin with cash and not have to worry about some of the intermediaries like Coinbase and such. They like to act like banks, and I think that they're really unpopular because of that. It has a lot to do with their banking situation. So you'll mostly be going through whatever like third rail route you can to trade into fiat when you have to. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that's the great benefit of cryptocurrency is that even though that Coinbase or BitPay won't allow us to do transactions with them, we can set up our own bank. That's what Bitcoin is good for. We can set up our own system and just bypass them all in all.
Cool. So later in this episode, I'll be talking to a lead developer from Mary Jane Coin, and they and Potcoin and Cannabis Coin, and I think there's even three more than that. They're all cryptocurrencies that were developed specifically for the marijuana industry. And none of them, I guess, in terms of market valuation, are doing terribly well. But do you have any interest in, diversifying into those when you can, or have you talked to any of those people at all, any of those communities?
We haven't made any deals with any communities, but we have decided to accept Potcoin. It wasn't a decision that we made that was really thought out. Like we didn't really go through a lot of research. We did a little bit of research on how the community was right now versus a year ago in the coin's life cycle for at least Potcoin and Cannabis Coin. We haven't looked into Mary Jane Coin, but there's a lot of process online that allow Potcoin to be used in websites like that are WordPress related and things like that. So there's easy access to Potcoin, and we have decided to use a processor that supports Potcoin. So we've set it up to allow us to accept Bitcoin and Potcoin as of right
Right. And Shapeshift will allow you to convert
now.
directly to
Yes.
Bitcoin when you need to, in any case. As a co-op, do you guys have like a higher grow limit? I mean, I guess I don't know a lot how that works. Like, are you allowed to grow pot to sell?
Yes, we are. And it's really based off of the limit per person and regulations based off of the city and county. But we have not, because we are a co op, we are allowed to compensate growers for their extra medicine. And that's the route we're going to be going right now. In the future, we do have plans on growing our own medicine, and the limit will be really based off of where we're located at and where we start our grow at.
You're in two very vulnerable, spaces. You're in cryptocurrency, which, in California they've decided, I guess, to back off of of regulating or over-regulating Bitcoin transactions, and they're not doing anything like the bit license at this time. And then you're also in the cannabis industry, which I guess in California is quite established, and definitely isn't going anywhere. But do you have any like nightmare scenarios? And you know, are you all in on this, or are you keeping a day job? Like what's what's the future look like for you and your team?
Uh, there's no fear on our team. If you would see us, we got big smiles on our faces, because even though we are in an intersection between two big controversial communities, Bitcoin crypto community and the cannabis community, those both have a potential to rise. And if you into those communities, you can almost see that they're about to break. They're about to go mainstream, both. And it seems like if nobody's willing to take the risk and do it now, then it'll never get done, it seemed like. And I know there's a lot of cannabis users in California and in America that are waiting for someone to allow them to use their Bitcoins for cannabis. And I've been waiting for a long time. And I think that it's an exciting time for both communities. And I think we're going to capitalize on it if nobody else is willing to.
Well, awesome, and good luck.
Thank you.
It's so crypto man, the official cryptocurrency song. I hope all my brothers and sisters around the world will sing along. Look at the cryptocurrency, man, it's such a blurring, see a new one every day. They got the pump and dump, they try to make you a jump. You better watch your back, I say. I hear the troll box singing till my ears are ringing. I'm afraid just to go to bed, and I'm not feeling so well. Tell me, should I buy or sell? Oh no, I'm afraid to buy, cause it might be too high, man. Whoa. And I'm afraid to sell, because it might be too low. We got the androids talking and the dope coin smoking. It's a thing, mama, you should see. We got the Potcoin, man, it's such a hot coin, all the way from Denver to DC. We got the hash coin, now we need a stash coin, or we lose it all, and that's a drag. And I say blockchain, smoke chain, I just like to get a bag. I think I'm gonna fly to Denver. I think I'm gonna get a real high upon a bender, maybe find a heart that's tender. Help me to lay down at night. You know it's so strange when another exchange is creeping in like another bad sin. It's a legitimate fear that it will disappear and you will never see your money again. You tell me it's the right coin, but it's just a light coin. Maybe I'll have tea with Charlie Lee. Oh baby, and it's blowing my mind, cause I don't know which one to buy. Blowing my mind, cause I don't know which one to buy. Blowing my mind, I don't know which one to buy. Oh Lord, oh, it makes me want to cry. Oh Lord, I don't know which I want to buy. Oh, help me, won't you, I and I, cause I don't know which one to buy. Lord, good Lord, I got my feet on the ground, but man, my head is spinning around, and all the world is crypto.
On the line from Colorado with Adam Garrity, the founder and lead developer of Mary Jane Coin. How you doing today, Adam?
Pretty good. Thanks a lot for taking the time to give me the interview here today.
Oh, no problem. We appreciate your time. So when did you discover cryptocurrency, Adam?
I was at work one night and my friend called me up, told me about it. Went online, I seen that some people were actually buying gold with Bitcoin. I think this is like around 2010, maybe a little bit earlier. So I know when I started mining it, it was actually only worth like 21 cents a Bitcoin. So I was mining with my laptop at the time, solo mining, and it wasn't really too hard back then, unlike today.
So you found a couple blocks a day at that point, just with your
Um,
laptop?
if I was smart, I would have kept up on the mining, but I didn't mine nearly as much as I should have. It was more of just like a hobby at the time.
So when and why did you begin the Mary Jane Coin project? And tell us a little about, how it works.
Let me see. So I was here in Denver, Colorado, looking to rent out some warehouses for my business to make some concentrates in. And I noticed that a lot of the posts, people would only accept Bitcoin. And that raised up some flags. So I'm like, oh, shoot, let me check this out. And then I actually started getting into day trading, helping promote other alternative cryptocurrencies. So I learned a lot about like the crypto industry from the inside out there, and I made a good amount of money on it. But I wanted a currency that was actually more legitimate than some of the other ones. It wasn't just for the money. That would actually be used in like real life, everyday common tasks. And so then Mary Jane Coin was made because the cannabis industry really has a severe banking problem, and I feel a cryptocurrency can solve that.
So had you heard, I guess you probably know, I guess in total there's similar, or five similar currencies, and one being, Potcoin, and then there's cannabis coin, which I guess is mostly focused on the medical cannabis industry, and so on. Did you guys all kind of come out at the same time, or I know I heard of you all at the same time. What happened when you were like, oh, well, there's another one doing the same thing?
Well, before I made Mary Jane Coin, I tried to work with a few of the other ones that were made, and as a dispensary owner, I was contacting them. A few of them didn't really seem too professional. A few of them I checked out the history. Wasn't too pleased with some of their previous employment with the government agencies. And when I would go meet some of them at like 420 rallies, they actually were not at the rally, and they would lie about some of the promotional things they were doing. And upon calling them out on social networks, they started to troll me. And I realized that was like, there's a reason for those previous red flags. These guys are pretty unprofessional. So I went to go work with some other coins, like cannabis coin. Actually, I found them. They were only on Crypt, and they were worth like 0.0000, like just like 10. And it was a dying currency, and I helped promote them up because I thought they would be legitimate, and they weren't. They kind of did some false promises, and so I left that team, and I decided to form my own coin because I have so many industry contacts that would actually put it to use that it's not just a coupon to give out pre-rolls that are usually given away for free anyways at a dispensary.
That's an interesting backstory. I don't want to take sides, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get too far into this. But I guess I want to clarify. You were talking about, so you did work with. Maybe I meant Canacoin. Is there two separate coins, cannabis and Canacoin? Are those two?
Yeah, there's two separate ones.
Okay, so Canacoin, is that the one that's the X11? They're like a dark coin shootout.
No, I think that's cannabis coin.
Okay.
Yeah, Canacoin, I think they're actually about to be delisted off BitREX right now. I've never actually worked with them before, and I never will because just some of the things that they've said, like on my social sites, like say Facebook, for example, I've posted pictures of my bubble hash. Comes to find out that they would go on there and tell people that I was no longer the developer of Mary Jane Coin, and that wasn't bubble hash, and it was Shatter that I was claiming to be bubble hash. That was just like really, really sad to see somebody do such unprofessional stuff when they're trying to promote a cryptocurrency. Yeah, so I try not to talk too much about them because it's just so sad to see somebody troll people they feel is their competition like that.
So this is I guess this is probably very interesting to all the people that are involved in these things. So, but do you think that sort of it's a survival of the fittest kind of game. Like the dominant one that comes out of all this will be the one with the largest community, or the
Because just like any industry, um, there's so much that you can do. It's really just like anybody that has an idea. You can put cryptocurrency to either like payroll, a number of different things, and not just the cannabis industry, but just any industry. And there's enough, like a lot of business owners say, there's enough gold out there for everybody. So as long as you have a good idea and good work ethics is really the big thing, you're going to go somewhere. And not just cryptocurrency, but any business that you start.
So tell us about the technical details of Mary Jane coin.
So Mary Jane coin, right now it's POS, which means proof of stake. So you gain interest by keeping it in your wallet. And we have a more advanced graphic user interface wallet. It's a GUI wallet. It has a integrated IRC chat room, coin control, block explorer, and some more options will be coming along the way, because I'm trying to gather all the best coders I can find in the cryptocurrency community. So pretty much it works like a digitally secured currency that's backed by cannabis. And the way I can do that is because I'm a hash maker. I make a solventless wax or dabbable concentrates. It's pretty much a product that other companies have to do refining methods to duplicate or get close to. And mine is purely organic with just water and ice. So there's less regulations on it. It's healthier for you, and it dabs just cleaner than other products that are concentrates that are made with chemicals that are supposed to be like the cleanest stuff you can get. But my bubble hash is actually cleaner than that. So I have a product that's in really high demand, can't really be replicated by any other companies. And that's the basis of backing Mary Jane coin, to give it some value, not counting the initial ICO.
So what, if someone owns Mary Jane coin, it's redeemable for that physical product? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the end goal, what we're going for. And with that entails that, like, say your dispensary accepts Mary Jane coin and it has a concentrate product. If they have Mary Jane coin label on their product or in their store, that actually shows the customer that it's a quality product. It's not going to be full of butane or anything like that, like a symbol of quality for their dispensary as well.
I guess you work in two hashing businesses. So it's never been a proof of work coin then. There was an initial amount and people bought them, and they have generated new coins, minted new blocks by proof of stake.
Initially, we had 2 phases of proof of work, and came out with some proof of work, then went POS, and then did a little bit of proof of work again. This was right before the ICO.
Which was?
I think October last year. I'm not sure the exact date.
Okay. So the end of last year at some point.
Yeah. And so what was interesting about that is during the ICO, Blue Trade, which is an awesome exchange I like to work with, put Mary Jane coin on their exchange before the ICO is over, so people could trade it there. And it was trading at it was trading at 400 when the ICO was 170, because people wanted it to start gaining the proof of stake early.
So people were actually buying at a higher rate than if they had just invested in the ICO.
Yeah, and we were letting people know, you go to CCEX and get the ICO at a cheaper price, but people were just trying to, because they couldn't get it off the exchange with the ICO, but with Blue Trade, they could get it off the exchange, put it in their wallet to
stake it.
Proof of stake, yeah.
So I know why you felt there was a need for a new cannabis related coin.
Why too? There's because I work in the industry, and the banking system is pretty complicated here. So a lot of places have to use cash for their payroll because they can't issue checks, and so that kind of puts them as a target security wise for theft, or to get injured in like a violent theft.
And Bitcoin would too, in many cases.
True, but with cryptocurrency, it's a little bit harder to steal than physical cash.
Right. Oh, it's significantly harder. I just mean that Bitcoin comes with its own security measures as well.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And So you have a business now. Are you able to buy any of the things you need for your business with cryptocurrency?
Yeah, anybody that wants to accept Mary Jane coin, pretty much. And we have some websites going on now where you can buy like ego pins, ceramic nails, pretty much smoking accessories for Mary Jane coin. And it's super cheap too. Like say like a kit that you would buy at a dispensary for $120, I'm selling it for $20 for Mary Jane coin, and that also includes the shipping. So that's getting a lot of people like interested and involved into currency. So if they're out of state and not in Colorado, they can actually buy smoking accessories with the coin.
So you're really banking on the future of Mary Jane coin, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's definitely like a long-term coin. Like any currency, you really need to get a good team together to get it started. You don't want to jump start too early and get ahead of yourself. So right now, I'm focusing on gathering like a core team of people and like statewide representatives, such as like Florida and Orlando. We have OC Confusion, who's a local music artist down there, and then like Javinci, Gabriel down in California. So branching out like to different states is really an objective that I have right now. In doing so, like I think July 3rd in Denver, we have a billboard that's going to be presented, and then after that, we should actually have a lot more in multiple states. I think the total is going to be around 3 digits.
So how's Mary Jane coin doing today, I guess, before we wrap up here?
It's doing pretty good. Just this week alone, the price went up 27%, I believe it was. Doesn't look like too many people really want to sell it because they see the future potential in such a long-term coin. Because basically once I finish backing it by concentrates, each Mary Jane coin will be worth like a minimum of $30.
Once you have produced enough concentrate to say, these initial coins are backed.
Produced enough, but see, the concentrates are always in a constant flow because it's in such high demand. Most people go out of stock really fast. So pretty much be setting up dispensaries, recreational, medical, and caregivers accept Mary Jane coin and get their concentrate production the way it needs to be in their business. Because usually when I work with businesses, I get about 30% of their income will come from their concentrate production after I finish getting them set up. And so that's a huge boost to their annual profit because normally they're just barely making it even. But when I come through, I take a lot of the product that they're normally going to throw away, like their trim and leaves, and I turn it into a product that they can sell for more per gram than their cannabis. And it also brings in an average of 300% more customers. So that's a real big incentive for dispensaries to accept Mary Jane coin and to keep their concentrate production going because that's 30% of their income right there that they normally would be getting rid of or sending to other stores to be made into edibles or like shatter, which is not really known to be organic. Bubble hash is really taking over the industry because of the fact that it's made with just water and ice, and the fact that mine can be dabbed and is cleaner than most of the other concentrate products out there. Just totally brings in a major customer base.
Good luck, Adam. Thank you for coming on with us today.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Everyone can check out Mary Jane coin at maryjanecoin.org. That's a proof of stake coin, and you just heard all about its history.
Right on.
And I'm on the line here with Richie and Sean, the lead developers of Potcoin. You remember hearing Potcoin discussed a little bit in the previous interview. So, Richie, you took over from some guys in Montreal. Is that true?
Yeah, well, it's basically Pot Labs. We're another group of guys from Montreal who took over from the founding members of Potcoin, Nick and Joel, who started the coin just over a year ago. And they basically handed it over to us, and we've been going strong ever since.
So why did they decide to quit?
I guess, I mean, they both had personal issues. They were both very busy. They had other responsibilities in their lives, so it was just too much for them to handle, maintaining the coin and I guess their day-to-day lives.
Okay, so you guys have committed to moving over to proof of stake away from what you previously did, which was script proof of work. I know that because when Potcoin first came out, I actually mined quite a bit of it. So I'm interested to know what went into the decision to move to proof of stake.
Well, I guess this was a kind of a long thing coming. The community had been talking about an algorithm switch for quite a while, and I mean, we'd actually wanted to go POSV a while back, but we couldn't really do so until really we had access to the code and whatnot. I think there's quite a few advantages of going POSV. One is it gives an incentive to merchants and users to stake their coins and actually earn interest on their coins, which is something that you can't do with Bitcoin at this moment, or any of the other marijuana coins.
Actually, Mary Jane coin is proof of stake.
Oh,
But
really? It is? Okay, cool. Very cool.
so are you familiar with Mad Pot coins?
Yeah, so we met Mad Potcoins last year in Colorado at the cannabis convention. So I guess Mad Potcoins ended up being the official or unofficial news of Potcoin. He basically does a weekly video, which you can see on YouTube. He's also on the I think it's the Crypto News Network. Is that it?
I think you're talking about World Crypto
World
Network.
Crypto Network. He's also on exactly the World Crypto Network. So he's been a big part of the community, just keeping everyone up to date with the developments and what's been going on behind the scenes with Potcoin.
So I guess I can't really ask you guys really too much about the origin, of Potcoin since you took over. But what brought you to Potcoin, and what do you see as its, fundamental differentiator between the other coins that are in the same space? Like, it seems like there's several coins that see that, dispensaries, especially in the US, can benefit from cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin itself may not necessarily be the best thing for them. They think that they may need a coin devoted specifically to the cannabis industry. So what brought you guys to it? Or do you guys work in the cannabis industry in Canada?
We don't work in the cannabis industry per se in Canada, but I mean, Potcoin was the first coin for the marijuana industry. I'm friends with both of the founders, and they told me about it before they were launching it, and I've basically been involved since day one. I mean, I think there's huge potential for a coin like this, especially the state the marijuana industry is in right now. You know what I mean? Basically, Potcoin was the first, so we had no competition back in the day. They launched the coin, and we've been going at it ever since.
Well, do you think it's necessarily a competition, or it's just that it's such a massive market that there's more than one group that's going to see an opportunity there?
We don't believe that it's necessarily competition. We believe the more the merrier. So the more coins jump in and help this industry strive and resolve issues for the banking system for the cannabis industry, it's great. We're not looking at any other coin. Sorry about that. We're not looking at any other coin, what they're doing and whatnot. We've set a roadmap for Potcoin, and the community loved the roadmap, and there's a lot of great things coming out that will facilitate and make it easier and simpler for people to use it on daily basis. Now, as you've seen, I'm sure you've seen that there's some dispensaries that are starting to accept Potcoin and are actually giving discounts to members that are using, or purchasing cannabis through Potcoins.
So is that subsidized by I guess, is there a Potcoin Foundation or the version of it? I guess Pot Labs is similar to the Bitcoin Foundation, what it used to be.
It's not really subsidized. These are things that dispensaries have chosen to do on their own. I guess because they see the benefit in actually using Potcoins. So they've gone out of their way, and some places are giving 10 to 20% off for using Potcoins instead of fiat.
Right, and of course, Potcoin is actually on the Shapeshift .io, so any place they could use Bitcoin, to buy supplies or whatever, they
It's
could.
it's actually funny you mentioned that. I actually bought a PS4 controller on Amazon with some Potcoins, and instead of paying $75 Canadian, I paid $40
Using
Canadian.
purse.io and shapeshift.io.
Exactly. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. You just go to Amazon, you find the item you want, you add it to your wish list, you copy the link into purse.io, and you send your Potcoins. And I think 5 days later, I got it at my house, and that was it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty great. I mean, having utility is a big plus, especially at normal retailers like Amazon and such. So I mean, so you're switching to proof of stake. So people that already have Potcoin and are holding long term, they'll benefit through that.
Yeah,
But
that's just one aspect. I think the other big thing that we're doing now is we're creating a mobile application. So we're going to have an iPhone and an Android application that are going to be coming out, I guess, probably within a month, hopefully. I mean, this is going to be huge to getting everyday users onto Potcoin. I mean, just download the app and you're ready to go. I think a lot of the services already exist. I mean, just to save money and to benefit people, like with Purse and Shapeshift, just the information has to get out there. People don't know about these services. I've told some of my friends about this, and they're like, "Well, what do you mean you can use Potcoins on Amazon?" I'm like, "Well, you just, it's a lot easier than most people think."
Well, I just want to jump in here, Paul, if I can. It's not only about saving money and being in places where it's convenient for you to buy, but for example, another great thing that by us, that we're going to be resolving once we have those applications is actually crime on dispensaries and whatnot. Have happened and occurred in the past, and we're trying to eliminate that. And it will be easier and safer for delivery systems or for dispensaries not to hold cash in their place. Now, once we have the application, they could, let's say, a delivery system will be going out and delivering the cannabis to their members, and the driver doesn't even have to hold cash on him. He could just, have an iPhone, and once they send him the pot coins, it's going to be already, at the owner of that dispensary, and it's going to resolve issues like that. So you're saving money on security guards like they have and whatnot, and crime will go down as well. I think is a lot more than just saving money or convenience or whatnot. It's for safety as well.
right, I was going to get to that. That's one of the large advantages of cryptocurrency for the dispensary industry is really that they don't holding cash. In some cases, there's dispensaries in Denver that might be holding $20,000-$30,000 in cash at the end of a day, and that's huge to someone that really wants it and is violent enough to get it. It does happen quite often, and then they get broken into and you name it. So I mean, obviously, crypto would be preferable.
Yeah, I mean, in Colorado, there's actually complete businesses that have spawned up just to transport bundles of cash from the dispensaries to other safes, and all they do is transport cash for dispensaries, which is ridiculous when you really think about it. We're in the 21st century.
That's what I was about to say. What are we living in the 1800s? Why is this? And this obviously has to do with the federal government's continued prohibition of marijuana, and it's the banks don't want to touch these businesses,
Exactly.
so they can benefit a lot just by buying Bitcoin,
Potcoin.
well, buying Potcoin or Bitcoin. Just by buying it with some of that cash, they can benefit quite a bit because it's safer to keep that. It's a lot more complicated to steal it.
Yeah, with cryptos, like I said, there's so many applications. You can also get into, like, we created potcoinrewards.com, which is a rewards program where people can go, and it's kind of like using your Potcoins like an air mile system. We're going to be partnering up with some dispensaries and some merchants, and basically when customers come in, they'll be able to scan a QR and get maybe a couple Potcoins for every dollar they spent into their iPhone app, and then once they collect enough Potcoins, they can go online and redeem rewards for these Potcoins.
So guys, I spoke to Adam Garrity from Mary Jane Coin. He lives in Denver, and I asked him. I ask everyone kind of, why did you start this coin? And he said that when he tried to work with Potcoin and Cannabis Coin, and I think even another one called Canacoin, that he just came up against some pretty, like, kind of, I guess, really unprofessional people, to put it nicely. And so I was wondering, if you guys were familiar or remember that time when he had tried to approach Potcoin to help.
Well, to be quite honest with you, Paul, it's funny that you mentioned that, because unfortunately we had the same kind of roadblocks that he was facing. When he tried to reach out, I'm sure he wasn't they weren't helping him in promoting it or whatnot and developing things. And that's exactly what happened to Pot Labs. When we created Pot Wallet, which is the main wallet for the Potcoin, we were getting a lot of roadblocks as well. Again, we're not trying to bash any the previous people that were running Potcoin, but that's what happened, is that we were getting roadblocks as well. Unfortunately, Adam decided to, instead of butting heads with them or whatnot, he decided to create his own coin. By all means, it's his choice. We wish him the best of luck. If he wants to come and help out in Potcoins, we would love to have him there as well. The thing is that we kept on going and kept on trying to develop Pot Wallet and make it as best as possible, so that it is easy for people to basically use it, trade on it, do anything that basically you're able to do with Bitcoin, you're able to do right now with Potcoins. So
and so by developing that, kind of the community trusted you guys a lot more, because you guys had done it. You'd really done it a solid by developing such a full-featured wallet, right?
Exactly, and that's why the community, endorsed us when we took over all the back end of Potcoin. The community really appreciated it because of the good things that we've done for the coin. And at the end of the day, we're not trying, as I mentioned, to compete with anyone. We want as many people to help us out with this, because we all believe in this type of cryptocurrency, that it will help the banking system. And at the end of the day, it's not about Potcoin. It's not about Mary Jane Coin. It's about the cannabis industry and how we can assist the cannabis industry, to get rid of all those issues that they're having. We're talking about security, saving money, a lot of different things that this could help and bring to the industry. So regardless of if Mary Jane, Canacoin, Cannabis Coin, whatever coin, even though Potcoin is the first one, we still, encourage all the other ones to definitely develop and help this industry. But
it's like, a store can accept Visa and MasterCard and Discover, and there's no friction there.
Absolutely. And again, we have no friction with Adam. We wish him the best of luck. And I repeat myself, if he thinks that he could bring anything to Potcoin and make it better, by all means, we definitely, would love to have him on board. And not just him, but anyone that thinks that they could help Potcoin get to the next level.
So speaking of the next level, what's in the future for Potcoin? What are you guys, you said you have a roadmap you're working on. What's up? What's going on?
Well, basically, in that roadmap, one of the things was going POSV. So POSV, we believe that is going to help the coin gain value and sustain interest from users to basically stake their coins. And, right now, a lot of miners are just mining them and dumping the coins. So that, there's so many coins on the market, where with POSV, there's going to be less coins on the market and more demand, and therefore the coin should rise in value. Another thing that we got going in that roadmap is about basically, creating applications and day-to-day usage, and make it simpler for people to basically use the coin. There's a lot of applications coming out. One of them, Shapeshift, made it a lot easier here in Canada. As a matter of fact, there's coin payments that will allow you to withdraw your Potcoins and convert it into Canadian dollar directly into your bank account. So there's a lot of great things coming up.
I think there's a lot of big things that are going to happen in the future for Potcoin. I mean, just today there was an article on the NASDAQ.com where they mentioned Potcoin and how it was a viable solution to the cannabis industry. I mean, people are just the way, even when I first got involved with Bitcoin, it took me a year to actually understand the concept and to get in. Well, it's taking mainstream people a year after they first hear of Potcoin or cryptocurrency before they actually start realizing its benefits. So we're starting to see a lot of, regular people and mainstream businesses that are starting to notice this coin and talk about it as well.
Sure. And I do think that, the cannabis industry is unique in that it really, even in Western countries, it really needs solutions like Potcoin.
I think there's actually quite a few similarities between cannabis users and people involved with cryptocurrencies right now. I mean, for the longest time, people who smoke pot were used to doing this against the will of the law, against the law. So they're used to doing things that aren't necessarily legal, and for them to adopt a cryptocurrency isn't really so much outside of the norm for them or out of the box. Whereas an everyday person, it might be a bigger leap for them to take. So I think there's quite a big advantage to getting people from the cannabis industry to use cryptocurrencies.
I think I do agree with that for the most part. So, I want to thank you guys for your time today. I really do appreciate you guys sitting down with me and adding to this, I guess, the marijuana episode of the Crypto Coins News podcast.
Well, thank you, Paul. I guess we want to thank you for thinking of Potcoin, and thanks for the interview.
Thanks for having us on board.
All right, Sean and Richie, have a great day.
You do the same, bud.
And that concludes our 9th episode of the CCN podcast. As always, I'm your host, Paul Medor. Special thanks to my guests, Chin, Adam, Richie, and Sean. Check out goldengatesgreenest.com if you'd like to use a crypto-only dispensary in California. Check out maryjanecoin.org and potcoin.org for more information about the cryptocurrency projects we discussed. And an extra special thanks goes out to John Barrett for letting us license his crypto song for this episode. Check him out at bitcoinsandgravy.com. The CCN podcast is released every Friday. If you'd like to come on the show and talk about your cryptocurrency project, contact me at paul.medore, M-A-D-O-R-E, at cryptocoinsnews.com. For other feedback, do the same or leave it in the comments of the show page. We do take all feedback seriously. For more about me, visit phm.link. For the latest in cryptocurrency news, always check out ccn.la first. Thanks for sharing, subscribing, and giving us your thoughts. See you next week.